This is Christina, and you're watching Custom Games. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to stream. I'm your host, Christina. Tonight, we're back in Car Mechanic Sim for Tales from Grandpa Chase. Say hi, Chase.
Hello.
And tonight, we're continuing work on the old Daddy T. We did the body. We still have suspension to do, and we still have an engine to build. So I'm going to start by building the engine, which is going to be a 2-carb overhead valve V8. And we'll get some music playing. And Chase gets to tell stories. And I just realized I need to turn this down slightly. There we go. The house Chase.
Chase is functional.
Functional?
Yeah, feeling old as usual.
Please. Okay, under round 2-carb. There. Do we want to do a performance engine or just go plain stock?
I'd be afraid everything would snap on that poor car if you did a performance engine.
Stock it is. Already got bushings. Rod caps. I need 8 of. We need belts for the V8 OHV. I'm gonna be tripping over that all night. A, belt B. Let's do this. Back up to A, and we'll work our way down the list, because I know everything I need. Don't need air filters. I need the arms. Shouldn't need the arms. Belt tensioner, maybe? Have one just in case. Don't need suspension parts right now. Cam gear. So, Chase, I understand you have stories prepared, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Brain's still looking for that particular file.
Well, how can I help?
I don't know. I'm sure I'll think of something here in just a second. I'm also inhaling a hastily prepared sandwich.
Okay, 2 4-barrel carbs. And we're gonna need the clutch pieces. We need 2 clip Bs. I need crankshaft V8 OHV. I need crankshaft bearing caps, 3 of them. I need the crankshaft pulley. I need engine block. Boog says I'm just sitting down to pot roast. Ooh.
Oh, cold sandwich.
Okay, then the engine heads, left head, and where's my right? Or is it just head? Wait a minute. Just head. Two of the same. Okay, and then the head covers are the two different ones. Yep. Cover A. Cover. Where's the B? There it is. And then we need two exhaust manifolds.
I was not aware that you had moved to Boston. I need some exhaust manifolds for the car I'm working on in the garage.
That's all those. We'll worry about exhaust later. We'll worry about those later. We need a fuel filter. Fuel pump, I think, has already been done. If not, we'll do that later. Gearbox. Head covers, which we already covered. Idler roller A. Get a B as well. If I don't use it now, I'll use it later. 2 carb intake. Moving down the list. This is a test in recognizance since the last time I built one of these. Oil pan. OHB. You need piston rings, 8 of them. Piston with conrod, 8 of them. You need a power steering pump for a V8. You need radiator C. You need fan V8 OHV. Been in a crock pot since 11, says Boog for the pot roast. And redeeming a hydrate and posture check. Thank you, Boog.
See, I'm convinced that crock pots are like God's gift to cooking. Because, Christina, I don't know if you've ever tried to manually maintain a simmer in a Dutch oven on the stove for 6 to 12 hours. But it's a pain.
Can honestly say I have not. I don't really make anything that would be that involved.
Crockpot opens up so many things for dinners.
Timing, cover.
Like a good pork tenderloin and like a whole like half-gallon bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's, and you've got great dinner.
Water pump. HV. Water pump. Pulley. Okay, that's it in this shop. Let's go to the electronics. And you need an alternator. One size fits all around here. Ignition coil B. Ignition distributor A. Distributor cap. Rotor. Ignition wires. V8.
I miss how repairable
V8.
distributor style ignition systems are. I don't miss tuning distributors.
Playing with degrees below or ahead of top dead center.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I think I've got it all. We're gonna find out how much I've missed. Fuel filter, ignition coil B.
You will be graded.
Chain. So are you also counting how many parts I did get? If you're grading me?
Well, I'm just seeing if a part goes on that's not 100%. Or you go, uh-oh, and have to go get.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna have to go uh-oh and get because I've only got 100%. This also might be my lightning round of building one of these. Let me know when you're done eating, and I will start asking you questions, because I've got one that I think will elicit a story.
Oh, God.
We'll see how right I am, because I know I haven't heard a story like this, but I don't know if you have a story like this.
Oh, no.
Boog wants to cuss out whoever designed Deer backhoes for having to remove the radiator to replace belts.
Probably the same guy that thinks engine mount bolts can be put in within an inch of the frame,
Oh.
and then being 4-inch long bolts.
Okay, so back off. Rotate right. Click back in. Part mount. Let's do the caps.
Or it might actually be the guy that was responsible for the law that was in California for only 6 months. It was a law that said you had to have a license to buy a car, and you had to have a car to get your license.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What the fuck?
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. It's hilarious.
Ready for me to do one, Chase?
Let me put my stuff back in the fridge. Hold on.
Yep.
Sandwich supplies put away and bottle of water attained.
All right.
Hit me.
What was the weirdest? So this is something that the internet's been really fascinated with lately, and so I wanted to see if you had any stories like this.
Oh boy.
What is the weirdest customer states that you have ever had? Like came in versus what it actually was. Because you were a service manager.
Yeah.
So you had to have seen some of the weird ones.
I mean, we've all had the hey, there's a roaring noise when I drive, and you look and it's like it's a steel belted radial tire that is out of steel belt. Or the tire sidewall blisters. Those are always terrifying. Had a guy come in with his truck one time complaining that he had an excessive bounce when he would hit a bump in the road. All of his body brackets were in half. The only thing keeping the body attached to the vehicle was, in fact, the will of God.
So what was recommendation? Don't drive this.
The recommendation was scrap the truck. No, he had it towed and brought it back a few weeks later, and it's like he took it to his cousin and they welded brackets on. I looked at the welds, they looked good, but it was still kind of hinky.
And before we find out that they were the ones who bought the junk truck, is we can fix it. Brought it to you to figure out what do we need to fix.
I swear to God. No, I would have that conversation with our GM probably once a week. Hey, will you come look at this car? Yeah. I walk out there. Hey, what's going on? Introduce yourself, customer, and we'd look at the car. Him and I'd go on a test drive. Pull him back in the parking lot. I'd be getting ready to jump out because I was fearing for my life. Told him my text would not touch it if he bought it. It goes straight to the sale. Speaking of stuff like that, we had a tech one time. It's the only time my master tech has ever threatened to hurt me. And it not been in a playful way. He meant it. He goes out. Yeah.
The engine off. 100%. I got every part.
Good. We had guy was complaining about turbo lag on his. The stupidest thing they ever done was come out with a performance focus. I hated those things. They were so stupid. They had the little turbos in them that made a noise whenever they hit their blow-off valve. It was so stupid. But guy was complaining about turbo lag. And he was just not driving the car correctly. There was nothing wrong with the car. Our master tech goes with him with his scan tool and is monitoring timings. Well, all of a sudden, the dude shows back up and my master tech's nowhere to be found. And I'm like, where's my master tech? And he's like, your technician's got an attitude, blah, 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 blah. Oh, about that time, I see Jamie walking into the shop. And I was like, what is going on? So I walked out there and I said, what is he? He said, you step back away from me before I hurt you. I'm like, what? He says, you're going to give me a minute and then we'll talk. I said, okay.
Oh, no.
Turns out, dude, this kid pulled it because our dealership was on the busiest highway in the county. Like, every time you pulled out, if you didn't take the back way out of the dealership, you were taking your life into your own hands.
Oh.
Dude pulls right out in front of an 18-wheeler and just stomps it and is dogging this car. Driving like an absolute maniac.
Oh, my God.
Jamie told him, he says, if you do not pull over right now, I'm going to kill you where you sit. Dude pulled over. Jamie got out and walked back to the dealership. I told the customers they had to go to another dealer. I refused them service. Ford calls like a week later and asks what's going on because there's an official complaint. And I said, he's reckless driving. Almost killed my technician. I said, no. And like, do you have any way to prove that? And I said, you give me a second. I walked down. I said, Jamie. He said, yeah. I said, remember that Focus you jumped out of while it was moving? He goes, yeah. I said, do you still have the vehicle data? He says, I save every snapshot I do. I said, I need it, please. And he goes, I thought we weren't helping him. I said, we're not. I said, we're getting their warranty canceled. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, Ford's on the phone. He said, would you like it in this format, this format, this format? Should I print it? I said, send me the normal file we send to engineering. He says, okay. I send over the file, and they pulled it up with engineer, and they said, oh my God. I said, yeah, you see them body roll sensors are kind of, he said, yeah, no, He said, this driving pattern's 100% why he's had these other warranty claims. Consider the warranty canceled. I said, thank you, y'all have a good day. Or there was the woman that pitched a fit because I couldn't do an oil change on Saturday for her Porsche. I said, ma'am, I can't get your filter today. I said, not to mention, if I tell you how much the oil costs, you're going to have a heart attack. Well, I have to have the oil change today. I said, it's not going to happen with me. I'm sorry. I said, if I could get you the filter, we would work. I said, but none of my suppliers are open today that could get me that filter for you.
Oh, boy.
She goes stomping up front, comes back with our GM. GM looks at me, and I just give him the look of, are you kidding me? And he just gives me the knowing look of like, I owe you a beer after work, don't I? Then the customer says one of the craziest things I've ever heard, which is, well, I just need the oil change. Can you put the filter back on? I said, you want to reuse your filter? She goes, yeah. I said, no. He goes, why not? I said, well, let me ask you this question. I said, do you make coffee at home? Every morning. I said, do you just take and just halfway dump out the coffee grounds, put new coffee grounds in the filter, and use the one you used yesterday? Well, no, it's all clogged up and used. I said, hello? We had this one lady that came in and was just being absolutely just unruly. And then demands that I give her the senior discount that the state guarantees happens, which basically means we just don't charge sales tax. It's a state mandated thing. And she goes up front and comes back and she goes, you didn't take the discount. I said, yes, I did. It's right here. And I pointed to it. She goes, no, the discount should be such and such. And I didn't think. I lost my temper. I looked at her and I said, ma'am, that's not how math works.
Oh, no.
And she goes, what do you mean? And I put the calculator in front of her. And we did the calculations together. I said, you see that number right there is what's on your paperwork. It's still not right. She just goes stomping up front.
And comes back with the GM.
No. She went, saw Nicole paid and left. Nicole's like, what was she? She's like, I thought you did it right. I said, I did. She just thought she should be getting way more off than that.
People. That's the body tray. This one. Okay. Nope. Lost that one. Somehow we're repairing the brake shoes.
I mean, you could technically resurface shoes.
Drum cylinder?
Like, as in give... Yeah, you can rebuild brake cylinders.
Nope.
Yeah, you can get cylinder rebuild kits.
Leaf spring U-bolts.
Clean them up.
This is not cleaning up. This is putting back to brand new.
Look. You can recoat and refinish. That's about it.
What about leaf springs?
If it's like a shim that's messed up, yes, that can be fixed.
Okay, you look at how bad these are and tell me if these are actually redoable or not.
Look, I'm just saying, some of that is technically refurbishable.
Nope. People are crazy. I mean, that's fair, Boog.
I mean, yeah.
Inventory. Sell parts that are less than 30. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of the shock absorber. Can we... I don't think we can cut the brake drum. No.
All the parts you just fixed. The brake drum is the most refurbishable.
Yeah, the problem is we don't have a drum lathe.
It's just an attachment for that lathe.
Well, they don't let you do it.
That's rude.
I think I told you at one point my father had a brake lathe.
Mm-hmm.
He also had a
Yeah,
drum lathe.
We had the conversation about the Chatterbelt.
Uh-huh. Because you're like, oh, do you know what that is? I'm like, yes. And I impressed you that day. Boo. Odd rear axles. Not that one. This guy. 2 of these, please.
Fairly certain my mom and stepdad are watching some kind of weird horror movie. At least that's what I hope is happening.
Oh no. 2 drums. 1 shoe. Do I want to know why you're saying that?
Because the sounds I am hearing through the wall.
What other stories you got?
I'm thinking.
Like this, the customer states one's kind of the low-hanging fruit that we haven't done yet.
Yeah. I mean, we did have the customer that tried to say that we were selling her shoddy tires for her Mustang, and they were just burnt. They were burnt. She's like, you know, that should have lasted me more than such and such miles, and then we pulled her accelerometer data off the Mustang's computer and said, "Yeah, they should last longer if you weren't doing burnouts and drifting." Pale as a sheet, because her dad had been standing there yelling at us this whole time.
Me guess, Dad turned around and went, "So very sorry."
It was more of a he stopped mid-sentence and slowly turned towards his daughter, who, if she got any more pale, would have become translucent.
The hell, Boog?
He's Parseltongue, snake in the pipes. Parseltongue is a person from the Harry Potter universe that can speak to snakes.
Ah. Got it. 275, 35, 15. 275.
Well, speaking of snakes, we did have this tech that was scared to death of snakes, and we always put fake ones in his toolbox.
Do we want to put slicks on this, or do we want to do vintage tires?
Do vintage tires. We didn't put the performance engine in it.
Or do you want white walls? I was thinking put the the RF good ones.
OWLs, yeah. I love a good OWL tire.
15, 275, 35. I think that's my number. Wait a minute. I just had it. 275, 35, 15. I was right. No, actually 2 tires. 15, 275, 35. 2 of those.
It's a dually.
Chase was hearing things in the walls. The only other option is Wally.
Wow. So that same technician that we always scared with fake snakes, like, he would have the god awfulest, girliest scream whenever he'd open his toolbox and there'd be a fake snake in there. It's hilarious. He also is now head of the county's motor pool. And I used to deliver parts out there, and I may or may not have told his technicians that he's definitely afraid of snakes. And they may or may not have sent me a case of beer at the end of that work day. And I may or may not have gotten multiple threatening text messages from him. Ernie, if you ever somehow see this, I'm sorry.
What rim should we put on this? There's like 9 pages of them.
I don't know. No, top left. Nope, go back one. Top left. Yes.
On the rear?
Yeah. Makes it go faster.
Want to try again?
No, that's what I say.
Okay, you know what? This is going to be yours. 2 of them. ET0.
Have I ever told about what we used to do to his project cars?
No.
Okay, so Ernie is, depending on when you talk to him, he's either a good person or a weird dude. He would get project cars, and he had a deal with the service manager there at the Chevy store, where he could keep them in the shop overnight, but they'd stay outside during the day. Because it was easier to get stuff towed there for him to work on in his off time than it was to get towed up the mountains where he lived. So the thing is every morning, every night, we'd have to hear these stupid things because they'd always be hot rods. Well, he had one that had upturned exhaust.
Oh,
And we were
no.
so tired of every day hearing blah, 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 twice a day as he's trying to show off with it. Well, we stayed late one night in parts, the parts manager and I did, doing some quote-unquote inventory. We waited till he went home, and we waited long enough for the exhaust to cool down. We had saved for 2 months every packing peanut we had ever gotten. And loaded those exhausts like we were setting up cannons. Broom handle packed them in and everything.
Oh, no.
Then we said, now we wait. Well, the next morning, we hear. And then Ernie going, what is going on? Because it just wouldn't start because there was so much back pressure. Well, finally, it had been shaking so much they had vibrated loose a little bit. And you heard. And on the security camera, you just saw what looked like 2 confetti cannons going off, and then it's snowing in the shop.
Oh.
We laughed for 2 hours.
My God.
And then the service manager made us come out there and clean it up.
Obviously, you were happy to do so, right?
Yeah. Well, because we had a plan, because we knew we'd have to clean it up, so we had a plan. Is we had been cleaning up stuff, and we found an old truck net that had small holes in it, so it was a small truck net. So what we did to clean up the shop was we opened up one of the roll-up doors and we stretched the truck net between them. And then we used 2 leaf blowers and we blew all the packing peanuts into the truck net.
Oh my God.
Service manager come out there and he goes, okay, now that's smart. I miss that parts manager. His name was Kevin. Had
Kevin.
long, gorgeous hair. Dude had hair anybody'd be envious of.
Book says, I had a coworker that would bring their drag rod to work.
See, I don't understand why people are like, yeah, I'm going to bring it to work, and then get upset when something happens to it. I never took anything nice to work, because I was always afraid to get screwed up somehow. Kevin was... He was a reenactor. And he was a gun nut, so there was always some type of gun in the parts department. Because what he would do is he'd buy a new gun and he'd keep it at the dealership until he knew his wife wouldn't be around, and he'd take it home and put it in the back of their closet. So when she would find it, he would go, that's been back there forever. It was the best system of buying guns I've ever seen in my life. But since he was a reenactor, he also kept quite a supply of black powder. And we kept some of it in the parts department. Every few years, our insurance would come and basically just do a walk-around inspection of the place. Make sure safety alarms and things like that work.
Do you want the same rims on the front?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So... it's always a surprise when they would show up for these inspections. So we're sitting there one day and they walk in, and if you've ever had an insurance inspection, you will recognize that clipboard. It's just the way they hold it. It's like it's everything to them. And so they walked into parts, and Kevin looked at me and I looked at Kevin, because we had just moved his black powder that day because we needed the top shelf it was on. So we then proceeded to do the most Scooby-Doo thing in the world, which was one of us walked around with the insurance people while the other always walked one aisle away with the box of black powder in their hands. So they could never see it. So it was just basically they were being kind of, lightly chased with explosives.
Jesus Christ.
It didn't look like something out of Scooby-Doo.
See, I can repair these brakes.
Mm-hmm. That bothers me so much.
What?
That's not how a brake lathe works.
How does a brake lathe work?
You start it, you bring it in with the adjuster until you meet depth, and then you hit go, and the auto screw pulls it in one time, and it's done.
Not how mine. That's not how my dad's worked. You had to cut small. You had to cut small layers.
He must have had the dullest teeth in that thing in the world.
Well, it was an older brake lathe. You hit it wrong. It was like a CNC. When you crash the tool.
The grippy ones.
Yeah.
Just looking at that brake caliper just now, I remembered one of the most hated things I'd ever had to ask when I was working at a parts store.
No.
And it's specifically most of the time on Jeeps. Okay? Yeah, I need a brake caliper for my Jeep. Okay, you pull it up, you look, and you go, oh no. Then you look at the customer and you'd have to ask them a question that you know that they have no idea what the answer is. Is it a steel or a phenolic piston?
What?
And the customer would just look at you. Chrysler used two different styles of pistons on their Jeeps. One was a steel piston. One was a phenolic piston. And phenolic is like a type of ceramic. Tougher.
Okay.
And the force size that's applied to the pad is different. So that also means that the pads are different. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Chase, couldn't you just, substitute one or the other? Good question. The answer is no. Because the pressure of a phenolic piston is so much greater than the steel piston. The brake master cylinder exudes a different pressure. So if you try to use a steel caliper piston, a steel pistoned caliper with a phenolic brake master cylinder, you'll punch a hole through your rotor because the steel will just cut through everything.
Oh.
Phenolic is stronger but also has slight give to it. That's why the pressure's higher. That it's a quote-unquote chatter-free brake. So they're nicer brakes, but you can't always tell if the vehicle has it. There's two ways to tell. Is A, call the dealer and hope that that's recorded in the VIN log, because even then, that's not always recorded. They just get the piston that shows up. Or you have the piston in your hand, and they look the same. You tell the difference by taking an inspection pick and scratching it.
Oh my god.
If it glides, it's steel. If your soul leaves out your body because of how contorted you just went, because of the god-awful sound it made, it's phenolic. Phenolic piston, if you pull an inspection pick across it, sounds like nails on a chalkboard.
Interesting.
Through a megaphone
also, Boog
into a
said,
PA system.
Just catching up on what Boog had said, the coworker that had brought their drag rod to work says that coworker was on the Discovery Channel once for a drag race show.
Oh.
And then when talking about the brakes, Boog said, wow.
Yeah.
Pads, please. There was only one cylinder in there. I'm about to have to buy a cylinder for this caliper. Yep. Try again. Bottom suspension arm. C. Pushing, pushing. You ever have a here's your sign moment that was memorable? Be it with a customer or, more funnily, with one of your techs?
Well, I mean, there was that poor customer that came in the one time at the parts warehouse and asked me for wiper blades for her Buick Rondevis.
Buick?
Buick Rondevis.
Oh no.
Uh-huh. Automatic step rails. If it's kind of a neat thing that Ford did, but they eventually released a patch to turn it off. The automatic step rails, so the kinds that unfold when you open the door, they can tell if someone's on them, so they won't attempt to retract. They have pressure sensors. Well, there used to be a program that was in the body control module that would, if someone didn't use them often, it would just stop deploying them to keep from burning the motor up. So the number of people that come in complaining that their power step rails had died.
Oh no.
And then me just go into their steering wheel controls and go boop, 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 and they go "Nyeh," and come right back out.
Oh, Boog says you did tell the story about the Buick. I couldn't remember if you had told that on or off stream, so that's why I let you keep
Couldn't
going.
remember either. Let's see, step rails. I had a customer one time that had gotten some work done at a body shop, and they came in and said their backup camera wasn't working like well, and the body shop couldn't figure it out because they had replaced it. I walked out and was like, okay, show me what it looks like, and they put it in reverse, and I went, walked around to the back, pulled the protective cover off the camera, and said, try it now. Oh my god, what did you do? Pulled off the shipping cover. Oh.
And that was you showing the body shop?
No, the customer.
Ah.
That was one of those that I did not have. I didn't have the chance to not throw the person under the bus. The bus was there, and it was them or me.
Okay, fuse boxes. And we need seats. Seat 3, leather B. Seat 3.
Let's see, any other good here's your sign ones? I think I told the story about the time that the guy called asking for diesel exhaust fluid, thinking it was a joke. Like, some friends must have told him it wasn't real and to call the parts store and mess with us. I'm like, yeah, I've got it. It's like $14.99 a gallon. He's like, oh, he comes up there, and I'm like, yeah, it's right here. Very embarrassed, walked out.
Leather assemble. Normal mode. Oh, it's gotta be that leather. Damn it. Okay. Exterior, disassemble. Take these seats back out. Get the chocolate leather instead. Now, back to normal mode. It's going great, Cassie. Yeah, see, now the seats are camouflaged. All right. Oh, that's why I didn't see the fuse box. Okay, fuse box base B. Cover B. Base B.
Now,
what do I need? 3 Type A relays, 2 Type C relays. Let's do the relays first. 3 A's, 2 C's. 3A.
one of my favorite things to do as anyone that's worked on a dealership or a parts place is the pranks you get to play on everybody else. Like sales guys will love to send other salesmen to dealerships and ask if they can borrow their lot stretcher.
Their lot stretcher?
Yep, not enough room on the lot, need to borrow the lot stretcher. Every place I worked for sent a guy to the Seneca dealership to ask to borrow their lot. All right, no. Send him across the road to the Ford dealer across the road. They sent him to Seneca. Seneca sent him to Anderson. Anderson sent him to Toccoa. Okay. This dude drove for 3.5 hours until he got to a dealership that said, man, they're messing with you. There's no such thing as a lot stretcher. Drove across the street, next city, next city, next city, until someone finally went, man, I feel bad for you, but they're messing with you.
License plate. Just the one license plate? Yeah, it's just the license plate.
There's if you've ever worked in auto parts, Toyota they're known for their consistency. Okay. As in their 2.7 liter engine has been around so long that it's synonymous.
Nope, gotta come back to here for cat.
So, our favorite thing to do was to call another parts place and tell them that you had like 94 on up, like 4Runner, T100 Tacoma truck with their little 4-cylinder, and tell them you needed a water pump gasket. Okay. Now you tell them, because everybody keeps this in stock. It's like I said, Toyota's consistent, so it fits everything. And you say, look, before I drive all the way down there, I've gone to 4 other places, and they've all been wrong. Can you please describe to me what this gasket looks like?
Oh boy.
Now, Boog, look up a Felpro, Felpro, part number 35643. Christina, for your ease of access, check your phone. It is the best thing in the world to try to ask someone to describe that and not lose their job.
Hmm.
The welder strength test, Boog. Like I've seen putting welds through a metal brake or hydraulic ram rather.
Boo, go ahead and tell us. I think I've heard about this one because in shop class we had a welding shop next door, and I'm pretty sure I know what this is. Well, it's hazing, obviously, but explain the hazing. Also, while he's explaining, Chase, what livery would you like on your car?
Oh, this has got to be some kind of like hot rod pearlescent blue.
Well, I get that part. So if we do a pearl.
Oh,
Chrome
yes.
blue?
Yes.
More like
I can
that?
see me driving around taking up both seats in that thing.
More like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then livery. Black nose, painted nose, chrome nose, rusty, flames, darker blue flames, or ghost of flames.
Go with 5.
5? Now, are we sure we want chrome? I'm going to give you some options here. So here's chameleon, matte chameleon, gloss, solid, metallic, pearl, matte, chrome.
You know, that chrome. Also, oh no, Boog. Oh.
How many sticks of welding rod can you bend behind your neck? Ah!
That is an uncomfortable day for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Oh, God. Ah, that hurts.
Oh, fun fact, if you ever decide to sell cars and you're at a dealer and they require you to wear a tie, until you've sold your first car, do not wear a tie you like. It is a good luck ritual that when you sell your first car at that dealership,
They cut you down to size.
They cut your tie in half. And I have seen them hold people down to grab their tie and cut it.
Oh, God.
What was it? There was one day we decided we were going to hog tie one of our technicians because it's always fun to mess with him. His name was Thomas, but we called him like Tommy Ray in Toolbox. Bless his heart, he got in a god-awful car accident and only had one eye left, but he was so fun. We grabbed him one day and was going to hog tie him, and it took 5 of us to get him tied up. One of us ended up with a black eye. It was awful, but it was so much fun.
Test path. And we need to give this an alignment. Oh, we need an alignment.
Oh. I wish doing an alignment was that easy.
I want to note, this is not the first time I've done this on stream.
It's to be truthful, I probably said it then too.
Okay. Entrance A. There it is.
You gotta admit that gold looks good with that blue paint.
Okay.
No, it does.
Okay. So are we selling it, or are we putting it in parking?
So mean. Nah, sell it. Get some money out of it.
Profit 54 grand.
Told you.
Okay, then. Now, do we work on the king over there, or do we go to the junkyard and try something else?
You know, profits from my vehicle, I think, gave you enough money to work on the king.
What's in here now? Most of the engines here. Start it, because the bottom's out of it. Well, let's do this. Let's line up what's behind it.
Okay.
So why don't we go ahead and go to the junkyard. We'll do
Do we have
two
any
visits.
garages to look in?
Oh, the barns?
Yes, do we have any barns?
I don't think we do. I think we're out of maps. I need to do some more story
Okay.
missions.
I couldn't remember.
Don't crash. Okay. Okay, we're gonna get 2 rounds at the junkyard.
Okay.
At most, I'm allowed to take all of the cars home every time, and we can put them in parking.
All of the cars.
We're gonna sell any car that we decide we're not gonna work on, but I'm gonna leave the options open. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I see one. Old coupe. The Arizona Kid. Okay, we'll keep that one in mind. We might come back and get it. Keep doing a lap and see what else we get. Ooh, what are you? Bolt Supernova?
Ooh.
I think we'll put that one in contender. That in the garage. Is this an electric? No, this is not an electric. Okay.
If we
There-
do this one, we're gonna have to paint it Mystery Machine colors.
Is that an
We're gonna
option?
have to do the Mystery Machine. Figure it out.
Okay, let's buy it as an option. Because that one would be a quick one to put together, I think.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be a stream and it's probably still going to be 2 hours worth, but, you know, this isn't an actual one. No.
I just had a thought. Now I've got to figure out if I've told this story or not. Oh, look, it's exactly where it belongs. I mean, sorry, it is.
Huh?
Not long after they started using OBD2 ports that they go downhill very quickly.
No.
Have I ever told the story about how we had to steal a car back from a customer one time?
Do not compromise yourself with this story.
Well, it was a legal repossession. But it was hinky at best.
Make this an option. You may continue. You have not.
We
But
had this
also,
lady come in.
be careful.
No. This is 100% everything that I did was legal.
Put this in parking just as a backlog in case we need it.
So we had this customer come in, and the only way to describe this lady was crazy.
Oh boy.
Like, threw a drink on her GM and everything, and they still sold her a car. Right? Comes to find out that not only is the information we got incorrect and the vehicle was upside down in its loan, she wasn't even listed on the loan for the vehicle, which means she wasn't an owner. She couldn't sell the vehicle to us. She did. And then she took our vehicle from us and went on her merry way back to her gated community. Now, I say gated community in the weakest of definitions. There's a gate, there is security, but everywhere you go, you hear banjos. We figure out after
No
she's
barn
done
maps.
left. Okay. That there's an issue. So they try to get her back up to the dealership to do a trade back with this car. Like, you need to bring us her car back. Well, she comes up, she's not in the car. Somebody brought her. She pitches a fit, takes a swing at the GM. She gets arrested. So here we are, still trying to figure out how to get our car back. We know where she lives. We don't have any way of basically getting the car back. So the GM from our sister store that we also own came down because he was the highest authority at the time. Says, how are you going to do this? Blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, I can cut you a key for it and get you in the door. I said, but it's a security key, so you can't start it. It won't start. I said, in fact, you putting the key in to get it in neutral is going to throw a security code and lock the car down. Well, then, I had seen all this was going down with this crazy lady. Seen her get taken away in handcuffs. Parts guy that's in the apartment with me that day goes, hey, don't you know how to program those keys to the cars? Which immediately got a slow turn from me to stare at him. Like, I will dance on your grave. And Jeff looks at me and he goes, oh, do you? That'd be awesome. Come on. And I went. Because when they decided they were going to get this car, it was after all the techs had gone home. So I couldn't get any of the techs to do it. I was the only one that knew how. It's the only one that had an account there at the dealership that could go in and program these cars. That is gorgeous.
Option.
So I reluctantly go, because when the boss of 2 entire stores says, "Come on," you just don't go, no.
Well, you
so we're driving
can,
out in the middle of
but
nowhere.
you're not in those stores anymore after that point.
Exactly. It's a limited climbability in the ladder.
Posture check and hydrate from Boog. Thank you, Boog.
So we're driving. It's like 35-40 minute drive out to this place. And he's calling the people in security to make sure someone's going to be there to let us in the gate. And we explain what happened. We're in the car. We're driving the car that she tried to trade us. So we're driving it back. We're just going to pick up our car, leave her car there, and take our car back. Dead simple. So
Okay,
we're
we've got to
driving,
go to store.
and I'm explaining to Jeff that this process is going to take like 30 minutes. Because GM doesn't let this happen quickly for the exact reason that we're doing, which is we're going to quote-unquote steal a car. GM doesn't allow the programming process to happen quickly. So I'm explaining what's got to happen, what and all's got to go on. So we get there. Jeff pulls in behind the car. The car's like off down in the woods some. Like, the woman knew what she was doing. Knew she was essentially stealing a car from us. And she's parked it off down this driveway, down in the woods all around. Can't see nothing but the road at the top that we came from. I'm in the car. I get in, shut the door, lock it. I've hooked up with the laptop. I'm entering the programming phase. Jeff's sitting at the top of the hill talking to the security guy. And I'm going, come on, program faster, program. And then we're in the middle of nowhere. So I keep losing signal. Every time you lose signal, GM deauthorizes the programmer. Because it's meant to be done in the dealership. And I'm just like, oh my god. Oh my god. Because there's an alternate programming that you can do, but it takes 2 hours. For these cars, you can put the key in that's not programmed to it and leave it on and press the brake pedal a certain number of times every so often for 2 hours, and it'll just accept that key as its new master. Which is a fun fact. Anyway, I'm sitting there programming. I'm like, I don't want to have to do this 2-hour program. If this is the case, we're calling a tow truck. And I don't know why they didn't send the tow truck to begin with, because the dealership owns a rollback. This is what I asked Jeff. I said, why didn't we just bring the rollback? We own one. It's at the auction. I'm programming, and I hear this rustling sound, and I look up, and what I can only describe as Deliverance 2 Electric Boogaloo is walking out of the woods looking at me. And he pulls his pants up, and he goes, what are you doing to her car? And I'm like, Jeff! 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 As I'm rolling the window up, frantically, Jeff! And he comes down there and starts running interference, and I'm like, I'm gonna get shot! I said, no job is worth this, I'm gonna get shot! And then all of a sudden the car goes bling, and everything lights up, and I'm like, oh, shaboom! I'm like, it started, it shouldn't have, but let's get out of here. Jeff left her keys with the security guy, and we got home. On the way back, I'm like, Jeff, I'm never going to do that again. I said, that was terrifying. You almost got me shot. And he goes, and he leans over, and he goes, here, hands me 2 crisp, clean $100 bills. And I'm like, pleasure doing business with you, sir. And he goes, yep, that's what I thought. I'm like, you shut up. So I'm a cheap date, and you know it.
All right, so we have to make a decision. What are we working on? I know Boog voted Mystery Machine, which is our cargo down here. We also have the Supernova, which is the Chevy Nova. We've got a Roadster that I just picked up. So this is going to be another one of those like old Daddy T type things.
Yeah.
We have the King. We have the Cape, which is like your supernatural car. I will be painting it and building it like the supernatural car.
I would be upset with you if you didn't.
We have the Luxor, which is old Cadillac. Is that a Cadillac? No. Lincoln.
I don't know. Boog, there's maybe 1 or 2. I'll see what I can find and shoot you a link.
We have the Arizona Kid, but I don't think we're going to do that one this time because that one's kind of ugly. And then we have the Mark IV, which is a like 98, or not a 98, a 68 Chevelle. What do we think?
I'm gonna say the King, only because I was gonna say Mystery Machine, but I want to build it with Boog here, and since he had to leave, the next step down is the King.
Okay.
In my preference lineage. It's either that or Supernatural, and I'm just gonna be sitting here singing the beginning line to Carry On My Wayward Son every time you touch something on it.
How about this? Because I think, let's look at the Supernatural car real quick. I think this was an easy turnaround. Yeah, it's got wheels.
Yeah, it's got wheels.
Car preview. It's got a block. This is the supernatural car found in a barn after 80 years.
Yeah.
But it's got 4 wheels that turn in the same direction. Magnum on blocks. Nope, Magnum will roll. So the King will roll as well. Car preview. See ya, Cassie.
Wow.
Mm.
Everybody leaving it.
All right, let's do the King. One thing I hate about the parking solution in this is how you had to do all those individual storage units and wait for animations and everything. In the previous version, you were in a parking garage and you could literally see all the cars.
Yeah.
I understand why they don't do that because it's not performant, but meh. Okay, let's wash this thing first and see what we're dealing with. If this has got a good body... Oh, dear Lord.
Oh.
So this has a good body. We are going to have to fix them somewhat, unless we just want to leave the slight rust spots, says Patina. Want to run that by me again? I think we want to leave the patina and just paint over wherever we need to.
Yeah.
Take it to the paint shop and see what we've got. Depending on liveries and everything, that's going to really change how we do this car, I think. Orbit the camera. There's the look you want. Racing stripe, racing stripe. Okay. Better. Black letter. Better yet. Okay, I think we're playing with that. And then it's just what color blue we want. More like that, maybe?
I mean, the classic was almost that baby powder blue.
That color.
Yeah.
So we want that color then?
That is pretty.
With that livery?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So we're going to leave the body with some of its imperfections. And just give it its old colors back. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Move the car to car lift A. And I will be honest, I think once we take inventory of this thing, I might call it. Okay, we have the bottom of the engine to fix. Do we want to try and MVP this real quick? See if we can get it running with the parts it's got.
Yeah.
So, in that case, we need a Hemi 440 manifold on this side. Okay, it needs a fuel filter and an oil filter. Fuel filter. Oil filter. Like, if we can get it running, then all I've got is suspension work on this thing.
Yeah.
Okay, how's the engine lock? Oh, God. Those pistons could be better. All the rods have caps. Nope, we're missing one cap. One rod cap, please. V8 Hemi oil pan. Oil pan. V8 Hemi. Front exhaust section Hemi 440. Front. Hemi 440, there it is. Let's bring it back down. Let's get the rest of the engine bay put back together. You need a brake servo, a battery, power steering, and a radiator seat. Start with the brake servo, because that's easy. Power steering reservoir, radiator C. Come back out. Get me a battery. Missing relay type B. Like, at this point, I just kind of want to see if it'll even run.
Yeah.
Fuse box cover A. Because if it'll run, we could turn and burn pretty quick. Just fix up the suspension.
Yeah.
Oop, forgot the oil filter. Bought the filter, didn't put it on. There we go. All right, let's try and put oil in it. I guess fill up any fluids we can. Radiator. What do you think? You think we'll get it to fire?
I mean, fire, yes. Continue running, maybe not so.
Got a good fuel tank and fuel pump back there, it looks like. It's gonna be loud as hell because the exhaust is in pieces. That's an easy fix.
I mean, depending on the crowd, you might actually get more for it.
NASCAR.
Yeah.
NASCAR. What exhaust?
Yeah.
See, this is one of the angles I don't like.
Yeah.
I think I got it. Good enough. All right, now, if the engine runs, the compression test will work. Engine needs to be complete. What's not complete? Filter cover, filter base, filter. Part mount. I don't know what's missing. Unless it doesn't like the exhaust pipe's not on it?
Maybe?
Okay, let's put the rest of the exhaust back. If that ain't it, we have a ghost that we have to troubleshoot. Metal muffler, rear muffler, V8OH. All right. Metal muffler there. Rear muffler, V8OH. And that is exhaust, front exhaust pipe, V8OH VA. Front exhaust pipe, V8. Right? There's many variations here. V8OH VA. There it is. Okay, let's try now. If it still says no, then something is missing from inside of the engine. Yeah, to my knowledge, everything's there. So, unmount, additional compression. There's something wrong inside the engine. Car status. I don't know. All right. We're going to leave this for next time because I think the whole diagnostics process is going to be worthwhile for stream. Agreed?
I just realized I've been muted this whole time.
Oh, boy.
When you're in that inspection mode, do the radiator hoses, are they supposed to render?
No.
Okay. So say, because there's no radiator hose coming off the top of that water pump.
There would be a part that
Ghost.
shows up here, yeah. That's why I go into part mount, because I'm looking for something that's missing off the engine, but the whole engine is here. So that's telling me there's something inside the engine that's missing.
Yeah.
What's incredible is it let me put it together. So I think that's going to make this an interesting stream project as its own thing.
Yeah. It's got to be something underneath the regular cover.
Uh-huh. So I think we will go ahead and stop here, and we will pick up next time.
Okay.
Chase, thank you so much for the stories, as always.
Yay!
Chat, we will see you guys tomorrow for our 4 hours of Minecraft. Also, thank you for the follow. We really appreciate it. This has been Custom Games. Chase, say goodbye.
Bye.
And of course, I am Christina. I have one question for you, chat. Anyone up for some customs? Bye!